guess is tomorrow will be a much different day than today as we assess the state of Florida. Hurricane Milton is scheduled to make landfall sometime tonight, maybe into the early hours of Thursday, and the forecasts are very dire. I know a lot of you in our listening audience own property there, have friends there, go there as snowbirds. So we want to keep you updated with everything that is happening. It is right now a Category 4 storm, but you really shouldn't pay attention to whether it's a Category 4 or a Category 5. In some respects, Category 4 can be more dangerous, and I didn't understand that until I started digging into how storms are categorized. It could be a Category 4 and still be spread over a larger area. Category 5 might be more concentrated, but the winds can be such that, you know, even as a Category 4, they might cause a wider path of destruction than a Category 5 that is more targeted. National Hurricane Center says Milton has the potential to be one of the most destructive hurricanes on record for West Central Florida, the first hurricane to stage what they anticipate will be a direct hit on Tampa in more than 100 years. And obviously, you know, if you have any familiarity with the state of Florida, you know that the population centers, Tampa, Orlando, Lakeland, which is right in between the two, that's 3 million plus people, maybe like, well, no, Tampa's 3 million. Orlando would be probably, you know, 1 million plus. And a lot of our GDP is concentrated there, like 20% in the center of that state. So this is an absolute and total mess. And it comes on the heels 2 weeks ago of Hurricane Helene, which, you know, we're right. We're being told that, you know, Helene really attacked Florida, or excuse me, really attacked North Carolina, and it did. But Florida still took the brunt of landfall in the Big Bend area and all the way down to Tampa, Sarasota, Fort Myers. If you've watched any news coverage, you've seen mountains of debris piles on the street and sand washed inland from Hurricane Helene that still hasn't been cleaned up. And all of that debris, because an evacuation order was issued on Monday, remains on the street to be turned into projectiles or, you know, floating danger, given what they anticipate will be a 15-foot storm surge. So it's really, really nasty. And in the wake of a Hurricane Helene that's caused over 225 deaths, very, very scary to contemplate. Ohio National Guard has been mobilized. Although when I saw the headline, I thought, okay, lots of National Guardsmen are going down there. It turns out it's only 40. That apparently is all that has been requested by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis so far. Pray for the people in Florida. Continue to pray for the people in North Carolina, because here's the danger. Once Milton hits Florida, it'll become the new, more pressing headline. It doesn't mean the situation in North Carolina is going away, and the people in North Carolina are still really, really, really in a bad situation. Here's a story that I came across today in The Guardian, written by a North Carolinian by the name of Morgan Sykes. She says, at least 227 people have died. That toll's only going to get higher. The rivers are giving up the dead. Landslides are yielding corpses. The destruction is grotesque and in some cases total, with bridges condemned, roadways eviscerated, and whole towns obliterated. She said she was in her home the day after Helene tore through. A tree fell on her home. Her neighbors broke into her home to find out if she was still alive. And she condemns the federal government response. Continuing her story in The Guardian. Besides hearing that Joe Biden did an aerial overpass of our region and hearing him say we've got your back and the appearance of FEMA trucks in my neighborhood on Tuesday, I have seen little evidence of the robust, coordinated, multi-agency response for which I and many others had hoped. Any food I have personally eaten, water I have drank, or hope I have felt has come from my neighbors and community. She goes on to say, but we cannot rebuild critical water infrastructure, roadways, bridges, or our economy from within. The truth is that we need immense federal emergency funding. Right now, Western North Carolina does not look at all like how you may remember from your mountain biking getaway. There is a day-to-day struggle to survive here and a fundamental lack of sustainable resources or services. We are not looking at weeks to recover. We are looking at months or years. So that is a situation to keep top of mind as you pray about the people in that area. Now, politically, Kamala Harris trying to score points off of this by complaining that Ron DeSantis, the Florida governor, has not returned her calls. And Ron DeSantis has basically said, talk to the hand. I've dealt with major storms coming through Florida in your 3.5 years as vice president. I've never heard from you once. Why now? Well, we all know why now. Because Kamala Harris wants to be elected president and because she's leveraging anything and she can to possibly score political points. The last thing Ron DeSantis, who literally has the fate of millions of people in his hands and how he coordinates the disaster response to Hurricane Milton as it arrives tonight, the last thing he needs is to appease an empty-headed buffoon like Kamala Harris. She, of course, is running on two slogans: a new way forward and we're not going back. A new way forward and we're not going back. Okay, well then, not going back to what? The policies of the Biden administration that you were a part of? A new way forward? You would think, if that's your slogan, and it is, that when you go on The View yesterday and you're asked about what you would do differently, you would have a better answer than this.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Whoops, I'm Donald Trump and I approve this message. She's unable to say what she would do differently, yet a new way forward and we're not going back. Okay, fine. This was part of a 3-interview media blitz yesterday from Kamala Harris. Started at The View, then went to Howard Stern, and then went to Stephen Colbert. Okay, I listened to her on Colbert last night. And I want you to listen, and I want you to see if you think, this sounds familiar.
You are a member of the President's administration. Under a Harris administration, what would the major changes be, and what would stay the same?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm obviously not Joe Biden.
I know.
And so that would be one change in terms of, but also I think it's important to say with, 28 days to go, I'm not Donald Trump. And so when we think about the significance of what this next generation of leadership looks like, were I to be elected president, it is about, frankly, I love the American people, and I believe in our country.
Here we go.
I love that it is our character and nature to be an ambitious people.
Oh, yes.
We have aspirations, we have dreams,
yeah.
we have incredible work ethic, and I just believe that we can create and build upon the success we've achieved in a way that we continue to grow opportunity, and in that way grow the strength of our nation. So for example, my economic policies, I think of it, and I've named it as creating an opportunity economy.
Hopes, dreams, aspirations, opportunity economy. And I'm like, it seems like I've heard that before. Am I imagining that, or did I hear that before? October 7th, Stephanie Rule, Kamala Harris. You tell me. Have you heard that before?
Well, if you are hardworking, if you have the dreams and the ambitions and the aspirations of what I believe you do, you're in my plan.
Okay.
I have to tell you, I really love and am so energized by what I know to be the spirit and character of the American people. We have ambition.
You can almost hear the hard drive.
Aspirations. We have dreams.
Clicking in.
We can see what's possible. We have an incredible work ethic.
Yes.
But not everyone has the access to the opportunities that allow them to achieve those things. My vision for the economy, I call it an opportunity economy, is about making sure that all Americans, wherever they start, wherever they are.
Okay, enough of that. Yes, so we have heard it before. Is it the only time we've heard it before? Let's see. October 7th with Stephanie Rule. Second time we've heard it. We heard it on Colbert. What was the previous appearance? Oh, that's right. It was Oprah, where a young couple asked her about making it.
This is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family, and working hard and finding that the American dream is, for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been.
I feel like I'm hosting an infomercial because, wait, there's more. We haven't heard from her on her interview with Dana Bash on CNN. What are the chances we hear hopes, dreams, aspirations, opportunity, economy?
Sunshine, pleasant afternoon. High today 71. Clear, chilly night. Low tonight 42. And then sunny for tomorrow. The high at 68. Clear and chilly again tomorrow evening. Low 41. Partly sunny, terrific on Friday. The high at 74. On Saturday, clouds and sun. It'll be warmer. The high Saturday at 76. And then Sunday, breezy, pleasant periods of clouds and sunshine. The high 70. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
You know, I couldn't stop talking about it to my family and friends. My knees are my trouble spot. But for me to tell them now that I'm doing so much better, they were amazed, and I've been amazed.
QC Kinetics Cellular Therapies. Yes, it is amazing how these non-surgical treatments deliver joint pain relief for patients like Dr. Eric Williams, a successful chiropractor.
Each week, I just started noticing that I could sleep and not have pain. I could play pickleball. I could do a CrossFit exercise routine.
QC Kinetics revitalizes your joints so you can move again without the pain pills or invasive surgery.
You know, I'm 60 years old and I want to stay competitive as long as I can. And QC has allowed me to do that. They did me right and really made a difference in my life.
Book your free consultation with QC Kinetics today and experience the difference for yourself.
I like to go, move, move, move.
QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. Wesley Financial Group is not an offer. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333.
They're Trump's most diehard fans in the front row at every Trump rally.
You had to love the United States of America. You had to support Mr. Donald Trump's re-election.
Trump's Front Row Joes is the new two-part documentary offering the first inside look at the men and women standing shoulder to shoulder with Trump in the greatest political movement in American history.
The kind of basis for all the rallies, there's like dead fans.
Like-minded people following their hero all around the country, exhausting their bank accounts, camping out for days in the freezing cold and scorching heat to support Trump's re-election and make America great again.
The Front Row Joes are very successful, incredible people.
Trump's Front Row Joes, from executive producer Sean Spicer, former White House press secretary and communications director for President Donald J. Trump.
Friendships I've made over the years as a Front Row Joe is probably the best part of it.
Don't miss Trump's Front Row Joes. Watch it now. Go to salemnow.com. salemnow.com.
Before the most pivotal election of our lifetime, the Battleground Talkers Tour comes to Columbus. Be a part of the critical conversations that will influence the direction of America. See Bruce Hooley, Hugh Hewitt, Mike Gallagher, and special guests live on stage Tuesday, October 22nd at Genoa Church in Westerville. The Battleground Talkers Tour. Tickets start at just $5 and are available now at 989theanswer.com.
Here's a bit of good news. Things are getting very expensive and have been for a long, long time under the Biden-Harris administration. But as I've said occasionally before, the $1 memberships to be a member of PatriotSwitch.com Well, they are back. They said they just ended at the end of last month. Yeah, I know I'm as stunned as you are, but I got a text this morning that for the remainder of October, you can become a member of patriotswitch.com, get 35 to 50% off every single item, 450 plus, that they make themselves and ship right to your door. All the things you're already buying: mouthwash, toothpaste, cleaning products, nutritional supplements, coffee, Band-Aids, all that stuff. Only you're not buying it from a woke corporation, and you're not putting stuff into your body or on your body that have benzenes and toxins. Everything is a botanical that patriotswitch.com sells. Good for you, good for your family, good for the environment, takes a bite out of woke capitalism, shipped right to your door, saves you a trip, stand in line, saves gas. What's not to love? And a $1 membership for the year. That's crazy. Find out more at patriotswitch.com/Bruce. So we recall the Dana Bash interview, the first interview that Kamala Harris did. It was like 60 days after she became the Democratic nominee. And she was asked what she'd do to lower prices, and she had no answer. She's running on a new way forward, and we are not going back. And so it would be a reasonable question, even for the bootlicking media that she agrees to sit in front of: Bash, Stephanie Ruhle, Oprah, Howard Stern, The View. It's a reasonable question for the bootlicking media to like try to put it on a tee for her to go, hey, here you go, here you go. Separate yourself from the doddering old fool in the White House by answering a simple question: what would you have done differently if you had been in charge? But Kamala whiffed on that question yesterday on The View. If you don't believe me, I'll play it for you one more time. Here's Sunny Hostin answering the question, and Kamala Harris saying, no, there's nothing I would do differently.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Now, one of the things we've heard about Kamala Harris because of the astronomical turnover on her staff is what? They prepare briefings for her and she doesn't read them, and then she berates her staff because she doesn't have answers. Do you really think, I mean, it's possible her campaign is so inept that they aren't ready for layup questions like, how would you separate yourself from Joe Biden? It's possible that she doesn't, that they've prepared a better answer than she has given, because she was asked the same thing on Colbert last night. In the same day, she whiffed on it with Sunny Hostin on The View, and she couldn't get it right on Colbert last night. Now, I understand she can't say, well, you know, I wouldn't have withdrawn from Afghanistan the way we did, because she's on record from Dana Bash saying, I was the last person in the room, and you're comfortable? I'm totally comfortable. She can't, I guess, say anything about, well, I certainly would have never said that Russia's okay if they just make a minor incursion into Ukraine, because she can't say that, because then whoever's asking her a question would go, well, I mean, assuming it's somebody that has a brain and is not, you know, a Democratic hack, they would say, well, to take that as an indication that President Biden is incapable of doing the office cognitively, and maybe you ought to go 25th Amendment on the old boy. She can't question appeasing Iran, although I'm not really sure why, because the other day when Bill Whitaker asked her about our number one enemy, she parted from Democrats who've been shrilly howling, Russia, 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 for 8 years by saying Iran. That would be a place where she could say, yeah, you know, I think the threat of Iran, the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas, that'd be something I'd take a serious look at that. No, she can't. She's not doing that. How about, like, she, of course, can't say, well, you know, we really spent way too much money and caused inflation to spiral out of control at 40-year highs. She can't say that because she cast a vote on the Inflation Reduction Act that precipitated most of the inflation. So, of course, she can't give an answer to what she'd do differently because she's too lazy to have a policy position on her own. Now, I played for you Colbert, Oprah, and Stephanie Ruhle, where her responses were a word salad of dreams, hopes, aspirations, opportunity economy. Dreams, hopes, aspirations, opportunity economy. I'll refresh your memory. Trust me, it was said. I don't want to play it a second time. I've already played it once in the show, from Colbert and from Ruhle. But here is the Oprah interview where the young couple says, man, prices are really, really high. How are you going to help us cope with life ahead of us?
A story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family, and working hard and finding that the American dream is, for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been.
Is she aware of a little thing called like videotape? Like, is she aware that the things that she says are saved somewhere online, that we have access to them and we can call them back up? Because why would you continue to say this inane dreams, hopes, aspirations, work ethic, opportunity economy? Well, when you're a moron and you're stupid and you're empty-headed and you've failed up at every level of your career because you've been allowed to hide as a prosecutor in California where they won't hold you accountable for your failures, as a senator from California where the only thing you did of note was grandstand in the Kavanaugh hearings, as vice president where you went into the witness protection program after telling Lester Holt, we've been to the border. And he goes, no, you haven't been to the border. And she goes, well, I haven't been to Europe either. I don't understand the question you're asking. She went into hiding after that. Now she's ascended to a point, despite her complete ineptitude, where it is impossible to hide. Although they've certainly tried, but something in their internal polling is telling them, you know what? We're not doing too well. We better get out there and we better try something else. So dreams, hopes, aspirations on Colbert. Dreams, hopes, aspirations on Stephanie Ruhle on October the 7th. Dreams, hopes, aspirations with Oprah on September the 19th. And here we are, Dana Bash, August 29th.
What would you do on day one in the White House?
I will tell you, first and foremost, one of my highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class. When I look at the aspirations, the goals, the ambitions of the American people, I think that people are ready for a new way forward.
Oh, yes.
In a way that generations of Americans have been fueled by hope and by optimism.
So what would you do day one?
Day one, it's going to be about, one, implementing my plan for what I call an opportunity economy.
I was afraid she wouldn't get it in there, but she did. She got it all in there. Newt Gingrich says something that is very, very true. Listen closely. He's absolutely right about Kamala Harris.
They're not asking him to go out on a date. They're asking him to be commander-in-chief. They're asking him to be president. They're asking him to solve problems. The fact that he might not be the guy that some people want to have over for the evening, but they sure as heck will prefer him keeping them safe to her being just a total, she's a doofus. This is the first doofus nominated for president, at least in my lifetime.
Yeah, you're not really asking Donald Trump to be the godfather of your children. You're not asking him to come over and have dinner at your house. You're asking him to protect your country, lower your prices. And one thing you can't say about Trump, he's not a doofus. She certainly is.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Hurricane Milton dropped to a Category 4.
To her being just a total, she's a doofus. 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 This is the first doofus nominated for president, at least in my lifetime. She's a doofus. This is.
News. Group is not an offer. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885.
Even before your alarm clock goes off, he's already hit the ground, running, ready to tell you what's going on in the world you're waking up to. He's Hugh Hewitt, weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on your station for news, opinion, and passion. 98.9 FM, The Answer.
When it comes to safety, don't settle for anything less than the best. At Elite Fire Services, we protect what matters most, your business and your peace of mind. Our expert team provides top-notch fire safety inspections, and we service fire extinguishers, fire sprinkler systems, backflow preventers, fire alarms, kitchen hood suppression systems, and exit lighting. Visit elitefire.org today to get a free quote and ensure your fire safety is in elite hands. Because when it comes to protection, you deserve the best. Elite Fire Services, your safety is our mission.
The Caribbean is calling. Dennis Prager here, and I invite you to join me on a Caribbean cruise this November. Imagine 9 days of basking in the sun surrounded by the stunning beauty of a tropical paradise. We'll cruise the vibrant islands of Half Moon Cay, Curacao, Bonaire, Aruba, and more. Stroll through Curaçao's iconic pastel-colored shops and snorkel in Bonaire's world-class coral reefs. You'll enjoy some of the most delicious cuisine aboard Holland America's Rotterdam, a fantastic destination itself, this ship, with riveting shows and breathtaking views. We'll be joined by a special guest, Sean McDowell, and we'll both share fresh insights. We'll have dialogue on religion, current events, happiness, and our future in America in light of the election. November 29 to December 8th. Secure your spot today by calling 855-565-5519 or book online at PragerCruise.com.
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer. Anywhere you go with The Answer's mobile app at 98.9theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers.
3 weeks.
Or iHeart.
We are less than 4 weeks from the presidential election, and we are less than, 2 weeks from the Battleground Talkers Tour. October the 22nd, Genoa Christian Fellowship in Westerville. Please get your tickets. We'd love to fill up the room. I got the ticket count yesterday, and we have, well, I'll just be honest with you. We've sold more tickets to the Battleground Talkers Tour right here in Central Ohio than have been sold at any of the other tour stops. But we want to blow it out of the water. The last time we had this event, we had it on a weekend, and we had more tickets, maybe about 200 more than we've sold right now. Now, this year, the challenge is it's on a Tuesday night, October the 22nd. But let's blow it out of the water and show people around the country and at the Salem Media Network that we really care about this upcoming election. $5 general admission tickets at 9890theanswer.com. VIP tickets. Use the code Bruce25 to get $25 off those. Get some food, meet and greet the hosts. 9890theanswer.com. Promo code Bruce25. Kamala Harris with Big Time in her interview with CBS. That despite the fact that it is becoming glaringly apparent that while Bill Whitaker, the CBS 60 Minutes host, got kudos for his questions and follow-ups to Kamala, as I suspected, the editors were working feverishly overnight to make her sound more cogent than she actually is. Here is Bill Whitaker. Well, probably the worst part of the interview for her was immigration, and then the second worst part was Israel. Here she is talking to Bill Whitaker as you saw it on CBS on 60 Minutes about Israel and what needs to happen over there to bring peace to a region that is on fire in Gaza and on fire in Lebanon. Here's the edited answer that aired on 60 Minutes.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Okay, that's a reasonable answer. It's stomp your foot diplomacy, but it's a reasonable answer. We're going to be clear about, is that what she really said? Is that what she said? Is that everything she said? No, it is not.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of
took out the awkward pause
movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
Gee, I feel bad they denied all of America the word salad. She is so empty, so stupid, so unprepared for this job. And it's inarguable every single time she opens her mouth. Maybe I'm too hard on her. I don't know. Let's see what the people think. 844-TALK-989. 844-TALK-989. Gilad in Columbus is next. Hello. Welcome to the Bruce Hooley Show. Hello. All right. We've had issues with the phones before. We'll get that straightened out. I apologize to the caller. I want to shift gears a little bit because I said one of the areas where she is weakest, because this is one of the areas where the Biden administration has been weakest, is on immigration. Story by the Daily Wire, an investigation by the Daily Wire. Headline on the story, Dateline, Springfield, Ohio. I've mentioned this before, right? First diversity staffing. And I said, somebody ought to look into that. Well, the Daily Wire did. Daily Wire did. Here's the headline. Temp agency profits from Haitian labor in Springfield and encourages migration. Ooh. A Springfield, Ohio temp agency that profits off migrant labor is encouraging Haitian migration to the small Rust Belt city, apparently drawing scrutiny from state and federal authorities. First Diversity Staffing supplies Haitian labor to companies in the surrounding area, including Amazon, Dole, and Topray, an auto parts manufacturer. First Diversity Staffing provides transportation to the migrants and shuttles them to and from the company's corporate clients. So you see how this works? First Diversity Staffing helps the Haitians get to the job, helps them get back home. Wait, there's more. See, I told you this was an infomercial. The company appears to be, according to a Daily Wire investigation, actively recruiting Haitian labor from other parts of the United States, encouraging migrants on Instagram to leave states like Florida and, quote, join us at First Diversity. Here's the ad. Do you speak Creole or English? Do you enjoy helping people? Would you like to help your community? Well, join us at First Diversity. This is all spoken by a woman speaking Haitian Creole in the Instagram post. She goes on. Everyone has the right to work for a good company. If you live in other states like Florida and you speak Creole or English, you would like to make more money? You have no problem changing states? Then join us at First Diversity, where you will have the opportunity to help your community while you work to help your family. Help what, the Haitian community? Because they're sure not helping the Springfield community. We've had ample testimony of that from people at city commission meetings. And why would they not be upset? After all, Springfield was a nice, quiet city of 60,000 residents, struggling a little bit economically because of manufacturing job loss. But now they have 15 to 20,000 Haitians there. Another report from the Jewish Journal says First Diversity and its president, George Tenn, haven't simply attracted migrants from other states, but have actually bused migrants all the way from Florida to Springfield. Now, this report in the Jewish Journal says that the FBI and Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost are investigating George Tenn and his company over human trafficking allegations. I got a lot more faith in Dave Yost than I do the FBI on that. The Daily Wire goes on to report that First Diversity has a record of relocating workers. Its website and social media pages feature videos detailing how it brought workers from Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic to the United States. Nothing fishy about that? Nothing fishy about that. Because, you know, Nora O'Donnell told us that they are legal resident, temporary legal status in the United States. Temporary, which means, of course, permanent. As long as Democrats remain in charge, permanent. Also, the president of First Diversity is listed as the agent behind 10 Enterprises LLC. George 10, of course, is the guy operating First Diversity. So 10 Enterprises LLC, what is that? It's a company that owns various properties around town. You can find it on the Ohio Secretary of State's website. It owns 48 properties in Springfield. Wow, why would they do that? And the Washington Examiner reports that Haitian migrants rent at least some of those homes. Also, remember I've warned you about NGOs, non-governmental organizations, pumped full of millions of dollars from the feds so they can do in darkness what the federal government is afraid it'll get caught doing in the light, because the federal government is subject to Freedom of Information Act laws and disclosure laws that a lot of non-governmental agencies are not. Because, hey, we're just a little 501c3 here doing God's work, bringing people from Haiti, bringing people from the Dominican Republic, bringing people from Venezuela into Springfield, Ohio, giving them jobs. The Greater Springfield Partnership is a nonprofit, wink, wink, that advocates for business interests in the city. They have released a statement expressing their support for the Haitian migrant resettlement, saying that migrants provide labor, yes, and auto accidents and higher rates. The organization, Greater Springfield Partnership, lists Dole and Topray, two of those big companies I told you about before, as among its sustaining investors. Yeah, I bet they're sustaining investors. You better believe it. So that is an update on Springfield, and if I have time, I'll get back to more of that from the Jewish Journal report, which is really, really eye-opening. So is this. Oh, the libs in Ohio were so upset about school choice. And now a Washington-based organization, a Democratic left-leaning organization, is complaining about a $5.6 million outlay in the Ohio capital budget. $5.6 million for the construction and remodeling at 10 private schools in the state of Ohio. The Cleveland Plain Dealer says it was quietly slipped into the budget. How can it be quietly slipped into the budget? The budget's public. What's the budget, Bruce? How much? $4.2 billion. $4.2 billion? And they're crabbing about $5.6 million? What's 5.6 million divided by 4.2 billion? Oh, that's right. It's less than 1%. So we're really upset about less than 1% of the state budget going to a few private schools in the state of Ohio. Did any public schools get any of that money? Of course they did. Are they mad about that? No. For years and years and years and years, people who send their kids to private schools wonder why, am I not a citizen of the state of Ohio? My kid not deserve an education? You can't help our school out, but you can help public schools out?
Sunshine, pleasant afternoon. High today 71. Clear, chilly night. Low tonight 42. And then sunny for tomorrow. High at 68. Clear and chilly again tomorrow evening. Low 41. Partly sunny. Terrific on Friday. The high at 74. On Saturday, clouds and sun. It'll be warmer. High Saturday at 76. And then Sunday, breezy, pleasant, periods of clouds and sunshine, the high 70. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Listen to Sherrod Brown. When he wanted your vote.
On major issues, I'll stand up to the president of my own party.
But Sherrod Brown doesn't stand up to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. He votes with them 97% of the time. Brown supported Biden and Harris on radical issues like amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants. Brown voted to give nearly $1 billion in COVID stimulus checks to convicted criminals in prison, even the Boston Marathon bomber. And Brown voted to give taxpayer-funded health care to illegals who get amnesty, and Social Security benefits too. So the next time Sherrod Brown tells you,
I'll stand up to the president of my own party.
Ignore it. Because 31 years in Washington has changed Sherrod Brown. He's not for us anymore, and he's way too liberal for Ohio. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by...
Balance, because I don't want my kids growing up under this kind of a reactionary and partisan Supreme Court.
To the people listening, both in this state and around the country, what he's talking about is eliminating free speech. This administration is constantly talk about taking away the free speech of the people, doing away with the Second Amendment, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is under attack by Mr. Schiff and his party. That's why you need a voice like mine in the U.S. Senate starting next January.
And learn how a cost-free complimentary meeting may be the key to putting your money to work and your mind at ease. And don't forget to listen to the Aptos Blueprint Radio Show Friday evenings at 6, Saturday afternoons at noon, or call us today at 614-917-1040. I'm CPA Brad Hennebert with Premier Tax CPAs. And the true value of using a CPA is getting guidance throughout the year, not just at tax time. During the year, we can actively advise you on your financial and tax planning and other major business decisions, just like an outside CFO. Too often, when you see your accountant only at tax time, we're really only keeping score of what you did last year. We'll prepare a comprehensive tax plan to maximize your deductions and minimize the tax you pay, and present you with money-saving options you may not have ever considered. We'll update your financial position each quarter, so there are no nasty surprises at tax time. At Premier Tax CPAs, we like to have consultations with our clients throughout the year because important financial information is only useful if it's timely. At Premier Tax CPAs, we're a firm that can work with you and your business throughout the year to help you make decisions before it's too late. Give us a call at Premier Tax CPAs at 614-524-4888. That's 614-524-4888.
ProView Remodeling, Central Ohio's one-stop residential remodeler specializing in the best sunrooms, windows, doors, decks, siding, patios, porches, motorized screens, and more. Call ProView Remodeling today and get 60 months, 0 interest, or 25% off. Call 7 days a week, 614-756-3140. You win with ProView, 614-756-3140, or go to ProViewRemodeling.com.
Well, I know it seems like a long way off, but trust me, Christmas is coming. It'll be here before you know it. And if you'd like to win tickets to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra and the Lost Christmas Eve Tour, you are in luck because we have 10 pairs of tickets to give away at 9890answer.com. What is the Lost Christmas Eve Tour? Well, according to the copy I'm holding in my hand, it is a story of loss and redemption that encompasses a rundown hotel, an old toy store, a blues bar, a Gothic cathedral, and the respective inhabitants all intertwined on a single enchanted Christmas Eve in New York City. The critics say it is stunning showmanship and includes every pyrotechnic and electronic trick known to man, including spectacular lasers that hover over the audience. Would you like to be there on December the 26th? You can be, thanks to 9890answer.com. Win one of the 10 pairs of tickets to see the Trans-Siberian Orchestra on December the 26th at 9890answer.com. All right, we, I hope, have our phone situation straightened out. We had a caller earlier, Jalad, who wanted to talk about Kamala Harris and the Israel situation off of a cut that I played from her 60 Minutes interview that had been heavily edited by 60 Minutes to take out her nonsensical word salad. We just passed the one-year anniversary of October the 7th, and the Biden administration, in my view, has done nothing but try to rein in Israel, which is fighting a just war on more than two fronts over there. Jalad, what are your thoughts on whether the Biden administration will support Israel going forward? Well, I can't account for what was said. I can't account for whatever was going on. I don't know, if the guy said something amusing to Trump. I have no idea. But look, it's inarguable that Donald Trump, with the Abraham Accords, with what was almost a deal between Saudi Arabia and Israel, at the time Trump was, do I want to say voted out of office? At the time Trump was no longer allowed to be president, no longer was serving as president. It's inarguable to say that Donald Trump has been a supporter of Israel more than Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. It's also inarguable to say that if the Democrats maintain their hold on power, and remember, it's not just the last 4 years, it's 12 of the last 16 years. 12 of the last 16 years they've been in power. They have had an agenda all throughout that time. And it all coalesces around pretty much one central idea, which is America's a terrible place. America's a terrible place. It's got to be done away with. America is what's wrong with the world. And so the institutions of America, the things that are in place that rein in Democrats, that keep them from doing what they really want to do if they had their ideal world, all those things need to be gotten rid of. This was on full display last night in a California Senate debate between Adam Schiff, who's one of the biggest liars and crooks in Washington, D.C., running now for Senate against former L.A. Dodger legend Steve Garvey. Listen to what Schiff wants to get done and how Garvey is smart enough to read between the lines and boil it down for voters exactly what Schiff really wants.
Mr. Schiff, for or against abolishing the filibuster? I'm for abolishing the filibuster because, Mark, if we're ever going to restore voting rights, we're going to have to abolish the filibuster. If we're going to want to take meaningful action on gun safety legislation, with the universal background checks, we're going to have to abolish the filibuster. If we want comprehensive immigration reform, we're going to have to abolish the filibuster. If we want to restore reproductive freedom to millions of women in California, we're going to have to abolish the filibuster. And as to packing the court, Mr. Garvey, in case you weren't paying attention, it's already been packed. It was packed with reactionary justices who took away the reproductive freedom for millions of people. That court ought to be term limited. There should be enforceable sanctions, ethics sanctions, an enforceable ethics code for that court, like any other federal employee. And yes, that court should be rebalanced because I don't want my kids growing up under this kind of a reactionary and partisan Supreme Court.
To the people listening, both in this state and around the country, what he's talking about is eliminating free speech. This administration is constantly talking about taking away the free speech of the people, doing away with the Second Amendment, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is under attack by Mr. Schiff and his party.
100% right. 100% right. Did you hear what Schiff wants? Voting rights. In other words, we're going to give voting rights to people who will vote for Democrats. We're going to give it to the people we are giving free stuff to coming into the country. Guns. Oh, gun safety. Oh, there goes your Second Amendment. There goes your right to own a gun. There goes your right to rebel against government tyranny. Immigration. We're going to let in more people if we get our way. Abortion. We're going to do unrestricted abortion. We're going to do a national unrestricted abortion access bill. If we can get rid of the filibuster, we can make that happen. And we are going to pack the court. Donald Trump did not pack the court. 3 justices, 3 openings manifested themselves during his presidency, and he nominated according to laws and procedures that were already in place. And the Democrats are upset about it. It never bothered them. Never bothered them when they had a liberal court and they could get Roe in and they could get all kinds of bad laws in. They could get upheld. Never bothered them before. But boy, once they don't start to get their way, they're like a whiny kid who's not allowed to have ice cream for breakfast. Now, I'm surprised Adam Schiff left out the Electoral College, but you know who didn't? Tim Walz, Democratic vice presidential nominee yesterday, campaigning on the West Coast. Walz called for abolishing the Electoral College. He says it forces candidates to focus too much attention on a handful of battleground states. Here's the quote. I think all of us know the Electoral College needs to go. We need a national popular vote. Oh, how convenient. Since you have a bunch of wokesters in New York and California who virtually assure Democrats of winning the popular vote. He says, we need to win Beaver County, Pennsylvania. We need to go to York, Pennsylvania. We need to be in western Wisconsin. We need to be in Reno, Nevada. In other words, those people, who cares about them? We care about Philadelphia. We care about Boston. We care about Baltimore. We care about Milwaukee. We care about Pittsburgh. We care about the big cities, man. That's where all our blue voters are. We got more people in those small areas, and that ought to be enough to help us win an election forever. And the Harris campaign tried to clean this up later, even though they want the exact same thing. They said Governor Walz believes that every vote matters in the Electoral College, and he is honored to be traveling the country in battleground states working to earn support for the Harris-Walz ticket. Yeah, I bet he is. Now, why do we have the Electoral College? Why don't we do a popular vote? Because if we had the Electoral College, you know where presidential candidates would never, ever appear and who they would never, ever, ever be accountable to? Wyoming, Idaho, South Dakota, North Dakota, Nebraska, New Hampshire, Maine, Delaware, a bunch of states around the country who have small populations who would be insignificant, because why would I go to 8 states that don't have the population combined of Los Angeles, San Francisco, and the state of California? Why would I do that? You would never do that. People in the South, Alabama, Mississippi, they have no voice. That's why our founders set it up, so that every state had representation based on population, House of Representatives, and every state has equal representation because they are a state. It's called the U.S. Senate. The Electoral College is brilliant, and the Democrats are mad because Hillary lost the election by a super wide margin. Remember, the Electoral College count was 304 Trump, 227 Hillary. But she won the popular vote. Of course she did. Because California and New York. And New Jersey, too. This is why they want to get rid of it. Because if they don't get their way, they will do anything.
Adds Sherry Brown thinks everything's pretty funny. But it's not when you look at his voting record. Brown voted to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports. Unfair and dangerous. Brown introduced a bill letting transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms and girls' bathrooms. That's just not right. And Brown supported allowing puberty blockers.
That's right. Yeah, that guy's, I could tell from the minute he came on that he was a troll. Yeah, no, just the next, I'm going to do this. Like, if I do this, then it's not as obvious that I'm, like, saying get rid of him. But if I do this, like,
Sorry,
yeah,
Sharon.
yeah.
Your seriously bad votes are no joke, and Ohio doesn't think it's funny.
FEMA funds, there was a bill that was voted on by Republicans to pass.
Senate leadership fund paid for is responsible for the content of this application.
Yeah, they just have to have a vote to move it from one pocket to another. But they're not in session right now, so they can't have that vote. I don't know why they can't do it. They're not doing it because they don't want to. Which doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it's like ice cream. It's like
breaking news this hour from townhall.com.
A mix of kids who don't want to work with the other kids.
Right. That's right.
It's just stupid.
Yeah.
It hurts the country.
That's right. It does.
It would likely weaken, but remain a major hurricane when it makes landfall late Wednesday. The Tampa Bay area, home to more than 3.3 million people facing the possibility of widespread destruction. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says the roads and interstates are flowing, but he added the traffic conditions could deteriorate as the day goes on. He says the state is concentrating on getting gasoline to service stations in need.
There is no, right now, fuel shortage. However, demand has been extraordinarily high, and some gas stations have run out.
Milton now less than 200 miles southwest of Tampa. Also at townhall.com, on the battlefront, at least 18 people are dead after Israel hits Gaza.
2 strikes hit tents for displaced people in the urban Nuseirat and Barej refugee camps in central Gaza. The bodies of 9 people, including 3 children, were brought to the El Aqsa Martyrs Hospital in the nearby town of Deir el Balah. An Associated Press press journalists saw the bodies at the mall. On Tuesday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel has killed the successor to the head of Hezbollah, while the militant group's acting leader promised more fighting in southern Lebanon. I'm Charles Villadesma.
Ethel Kennedy, the widow of Robert F. Kennedy, has been hospitalized with a stroke. It happened in her sleep, and she's resting comfortably now at a Boston area hospital. The 96-year-old matriarch is the last remaining member of the extended family's generation that included President John F. Kennedy. On Wall Street, the Dow had 368 points. The NASDAQ Composite is adding 101. More at townhall.com.
Sunshine, Western afternoon, high today 71, clear chilly night, low tonight 42, and then 24 tomorrow, 68. Clear and chilly again tomorrow evening, low 41. Partly sunny, terrific on Friday, the high at 74. On Saturday, clouds and sun, it'll be warmer. High Saturday at 76. Sunday, breezy, pleasant, periods of clouds and sunshine.
That'll do it for this edition of the show. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Ohio Christian University offers entirely online